We choose our phone companies, our television providers, and our banks. So why can't we choose our electric company?
Yeah, that's true. Good question. A lot of people are in fact asking exactly that following the power outages caused by December's ice storms, and that includes some Michigan lawmakers.
In a special report tonight, Shelby Miller tells us about some new legislation that could give consumers electric choice.
The Bavarian Inn and Zenders, two cousins, own the famous Frankenmuth attractions. They compete for customers and who makes the best chicken dinner. But when it comes to paying the electric bill, there's one clear winner.
Electricity outside of buying food for our restaurant is the single largest cost category that we have.
Bill Zender owns the Bavarian Inn. It gets electricity from Consumers Energy. Power to this restaurant alone costs more than $450,000 a year. Add all the Bavarian Inn businesses up, and Zender pays more than $1 million to keep these lights lit. The Bavarian Inn's big competitor, Zenders of Frankenmuth, gets power from out of state and saves a ton.
My cousins across the street are in the electric choice, and it saves them lots of money, and we think that it's close to $100,000 difference between the two.
Zender wants on the electric choice list, but Michigan law won't let him. 6 years ago, lawmakers got rid of competition. Now government sets the rates. Only 10% of consumers choose who gives them light. Energy Choice Now Executive Director Wayne Kuiper says that's why Michiganders pay more than they used to.
If you look at where we were when we had a competitive market from 2000 to 2008, we were well below the national and Midwest average. And once the law was changed in 2009, our prices in Michigan began to spike again.
When prices went up, Zenders of Frankenmuth got on board. The Bavarian Inn tried in 2009, but was too late. They've waited in line ever since.
I can buy my chickens from a variety of different sources, but I can only buy my electricity from Consumers Energy.
In December, State Representative Mike Shirkey introduced this House bill. It aims to remove the 10% cap on electric choice in Michigan and let businesses like the Bavarian Inn choose where they get their electricity.
We've got about 12,000 customers who are raised their hand and said we want to be on the list for choice.
Like the Bavarian Inn, Bronner's Christmas Wonderland sits on Consumers' grid. Consumers Energy runs the lines and transformers, but Bronner's buys alternative electricity from nationwide provider Constellation Energy.
Consumers gets a nice check every month, and then we write us 2 checks now, one to our alternative supplier as well as to consumers.
A nice check is right. To light and cool all this, it costs Bronner's $1,000 every day. Human Resource Manager Bob Spletzer says the choice plan saves the energy-intense business a ton. Tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, it's all of that and more.
Spletzer understands why other companies want in.
Some of our good friends from downtown Frankenmuth, I know, have been testifying and are seeking to get that cap raised so that they can at least have the choice that some of us have had for years.
State Representative Shirkey wants to help businesses achieve Bronner's electric savings success. His Energy Choice plan would transform Michigan's unique hybrid model to a fully competitive one and restore energy choice to customers.
If you don't have competition, you're not going to get innovation, you're not going to get good customer service, and you're going to pay a lot more.
Supporters say choice brings down costs and gets rid of Michigan's winners and losers policy. State Representative Shirkey says he welcomes the debate from those who oppose energy choice.
So interesting. And I wondered why you were going there in the first place, but of course it makes perfect sense.
Oh,
you
yeah.
see all those lights at Bronner's at $1,000 a day.
And he said before they were paying upwards of $1,400.
So, I mean, this puts the utility companies in pretty powerful position if you can think about that.
Exactly. But of course, there's two sides to every story.
Of course.
Tonight at 11, we'll give you the other side, and they say, you know, reliability, a lot of things they worry about if they open up the marketplace to out of state.
Okay. Interesting story. Thanks, Shelby.
Electric choice. Across the country, many states have it, but here in Michigan, 90% of us don't.
At 6, we showed you why so many big businesses want to choose who they buy electricity from. Now Shelby Miller sits down with the other side, those who say that choice doesn't work well in other states, and they worry about reliability here in Michigan.
From paper to pamphlets and periodicals, Keystone Millbrook's printing business pumps tons of power.
Our average electric bill is right around $9,000 to $10,000 a month.
That $10,000 goes straight to Consumers Energy. But President Paul Dorfler wants to choose which electric provider powers these printers. He says if he could, it'd save the business big money.
Roughly $2,500 to $3,000 a month, which is about $36,000 a year, which is pretty substantial.
Steve Transith is the policy director of the Michigan Jobs and Energy Coalition. He's against energy choice. He says some customers save now, but they'll pay in the long run.
When you look at deregulation over the 20-some-odd years that it's been in effect, it has failed to provide on its promise of lowering rates.
In 2008, lawmakers got rid of Michigan's open market to add the 10% cap. Back then, they never thought it'd fill up. Today, nearly 12,000 customers like Dorfler want in. The price of power in Michigan has gone up since 2008. Electric Choice supporters blame the regulations.
Michigan needs a competitive marketplace to bring costs down, to bring innovation up, bring customer service up. It'll happen.
Opponents blame the economy.
Mostly it's focused on the recession that we faced. You had a large number of electric users go off of the system, some businesses that went out of business. So you suddenly had a huge decrease in the usage of energy.
Dorfler says Keystone Millbrook's electric rates haven't gone up much since 2008, but the company has grown. Every day they're competing against other printing companies, and he thinks electric providers should have to too.
More than 50% of what we ship out of here goes interstate. Indiana's rates are much less than ours. Ohio's rates are less than ours, and we compete against printing companies in those states. So electric costs are very important for us to be competitive.
Many agree competition is a good way to control costs, but say energy is an exception. State Senator Mike Knopf says even 10% is too much. He says full regulation will bring down costs by bringing big businesses back to Michigan's utilities.
10% in the choice represents about $400 million worth of business for energy companies in Michigan that they lost. So if we brought that and said, well, let's just tomorrow, let's close off the energy choice program and go totally re-regulate it and bring that 10% back, our rates would either stay real steady for a lot longer or even decrease.
While both sides disagree on savings and power security, the issue isn't going away anytime soon. State Representative Mike Shirkey introduced a House bill in December. It aims to remove the cap on electric choice and let everyone in Michigan choose their provider.
When it boils down to the end, we have a choice to make. Do we want government and bureaucrats and legislation determining who should get treated specially with regard to energy, or do we want markets to make those decisions and have that influence? I err on the market side.
Well, there's a lot they disagree about. Both sides say energy should be affordable. Well, these piles of paper add up. Keystone Millbrook's electric costs don't go down. For 6 News, I'm Shelby Miller.
Yeah, and you know, it is pretty interesting because you want kind of a win-win situation, not only for power companies, but also for consumers. You hope that can happen.
You want to keep energy affordable. That's the key.
Yeah.
How do you do it is the question.
Very good question. All right.